Hey, Reading Christian Fellowship, John Kraft. Hope you're doing well, that you're staying safe, you're staying healthy, that you're staying connected through the different things we have going on as a church. You know, as we come to this Thursday, it actually is a really sobering time. As we hit this Thursday in what we call Holy Week, this is the last full day that Jesus lived on earth before he went to the cross. And it culminates in his gathering his disciples for that Last Supper, where he institutes the Lord's table. He institutes communion, that act where we remember his death, burial, and resurrection. As you read the gospel accounts of that Last Supper, there's one note that I want to have us pay attention to. It's at the beginning of John's account in John chapter 13. In fact, John chapter 13, verse 1, gives us some really important insights into Jesus and what is going on and his determination to go to the cross. In John chapter 13, verse 1, it says, "Now before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart out of this world to the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end." This passage is so important because it shows us that Jesus was not caught up in an unfortunate accident, that Jesus was not the victim of random happenstance who was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, that Jesus knew that his hour had come, that Jesus knew that he was going to leave this world and go back to the Father. But even more than that, in the midst of knowing what was going to take place, Jesus loved his disciples. You see that in John chapter 13 as Jesus acts as a servant and washes their feet. You see that as Jesus teaches in John 14, 15, and 16, and he says, "Greater love hath no man than this, that he lay down his life for the sake of his friends." You see it in his great love as he prays to the Father in John chapter 17, and he prays for his disciples, for his followers, for his friends. But there's something really important to take note of in that, is that Jesus in John chapter 17, verse 20 says, "Father, I pray not only for these, but I pray for those who will believe in me through their word." You and I are in that prayer. You and I are those who believe through the word, the testimony of the disciples as they give an eyewitness account of who Jesus is and what he did. And so Jesus prays for you and me. And Jesus, as he goes through that week, as he goes through that final day, as he goes through those final hours, shows his love not only for his disciples, but he shows his love for you and for me. And so as Jesus goes to that cross on Good Friday, his act of love is what brings us forgiveness. His act of love in laying down his life is what gives us hope. And we get to celebrate that the story doesn't stop at Good Friday. The story goes on, the account goes on, and Jesus raises from the dead, walks out of that tomb. And that's what we're going to celebrate on this Easter. We'll have our sunrise service. Pastor Tom and I will be there. We'll be out on the patio. We'll have the camera set up. You'll be able to see the sun rise over Lassen as we worship, as we spend time together thinking about Jesus and his glorious resurrection. We're going to email the order of service for that. There'll be some responsive readings. You can join with us in song, in reading, and in a short time in the Word. And then 2 services at 9 and 11 o'clock. We have a Facebook event set up. You can use that to invite people to join with us, people who need to hear the message of hope because Jesus walked out of that tomb, because Jesus is the one who came, who saw, who came, and who conquered death and hell. So join with us this Sunday, 6:15, 9 o'clock, and 11. Invite your friends. We'll see you there. God bless. Have a good weekend.